Hi, I'm about to turn 22 on the day 22nd, and then I I was just reflecting upon this last year. I think this year provided me lots of opportunities to learn things and reflect things upon about myself, or about patterns of myself, these types of things. So yeah, I just wrote some things down, and I would like to share a couple of lessons that I had. Um, Although most years I don't do it, I like writing. On some years I wrote myself letters for me to open in 10 years. But that's the point. I usually don't actually write the letters. Anyways, I decided to record a video this year. So let's see how this goes. Okay? So let's begin. Lesson number 1. It's easy to blame people for not acting as you'd like, but people will nothing. It's only your job to walk away from bad situations. Lesson number 2. I know it's not always a choice, but please avoid depending so much on others. And here I meant especially financially. Lesson number 3. Stop stop mostly falling for people who are unavailable. You find unavailable people more attractive because you feel compelled to show that you're available. And then you confirm your self-fulfilling prophecy of being unlovable because it was not impossible, but very hard from the beginning. Lesson number 4. I realized I info dump on people sometimes. So I consider myself to be a curious person. Sometimes I spiral around, I don't know, certain subjects for a while. And then when I feel very comfortable with someone or like very safe, I I like sharing things with them. I had not realized that I do it, but recently someone came to me and told me, like they made a comment about this, respectful comment. And then it was important for me to listen to that comment because I felt very seen. And it was interesting, it was nice for me to help me understand myself better, help me understand why I do certain things. And I realized when I feel very comfortable, like when I feel in a safe space, I like sometimes sharing things with them that I've been interested about. Nothing wrong with that, but sometimes, often I noticed that the person gets a little bit surprised. Like I only tend to get like receptive reactions, but yeah, sometimes I realize the person gets a little bit surprised, like, okay, we're talking about tectonic plates now. Okay, tectonic plates it is. but yeah, I realized that I do it. So yeah, for example, last week I think I was about to go to sleep, and then I started to think how people how people from countries that don't use our writing system learn the periodic table, for example. And then I don't know, I research these types of things, and I guess my friends are just never never really bored when I'm around because I always have some information to drop. It's not something I would do consciously because I just now realized that I do it and why I do it, but it was very interesting. So yeah. Lesson number 5. I realized how little I actually know about things, so about people, places, backgrounds, contexts. Seek knowledge, keep your mind open. By the way, uh, if I talk to another person, that person is future me. Okay. Lesson number 6. I have to work on my communication style. I realized that people often don't take my boundaries seriously. It's not something that happens every now and then. It is in fact rare that someone takes my boundaries seriously. They only take it seriously when I'm very fed up, when I explode, and then it feels a little bit too late because I'm already very stressed over the situation. So I wouldn't understand this because I try my best to be clear about my needs. And this is not something that happens every now and then. This is something that always happens. And then I thought, okay, if this always happens, then I must certainly have something to change or to adapt in the way I'm communicating myself. So yeah, this is something I still have to work on. But at least I got the realization. It's not just others that are like not caring enough, but I was just questioning myself. How am I communicating? How am I communicating? How am I expressing what I need and want? Okay, so lesson number 7. Isolating yourself is being a self-sabotage mechanism. So you avoid people eventually step back, you return to your loneliness, but you are the maker of your loneliness, ultimately. And it's a cycle. Yeah, this is a problem. Lesson number 8. You are eventually going to be the villain or the crazy person in someone else's story. Accept it and let it go. You know your truth. And the person seeing you as the villain or you being misunderstood by someone doesn't say anything about you. If you if you know your reasons, if you know deep down in your heart that you were trying your best to be a good person and that you are taking seriously your values, then other people's opinions don't really matter ultimately. At least not as much as you think. Let it go. Don't let it imprison you. Lesson number 9. I'm truly terrible at many things. So sports with balls, karaoke, chess, pottery, playing pool. Yeah. But I am in for all of them. Count me in. I love them. Lesson number 10. Being attached to outcomes harms you. I don't know why I read it like that. Being attached to outcomes harms you. Set goals, but mostly enjoy the present. If things evolve as you imagined, great. If not, at least you enjoyed the journey. And the thing is, things rarely evolve as we imagine they would. Things never evolve exactly the way we imagined it would. It's very rare. So get used to enjoying the journey, not only the destination. Lesson number 11. This is not exactly a lesson. This is something that I think that is going to be significant for me this next year of my life. So this is why I wanted to bring it here. It felt important enough for me not to bring it. Okay. I've been questioning. I have a mental diagnosis that I've been questioning. Okay. I think I have something because it's yeah. I think I have something. I most likely have a diagnosis, but I've been just questioning the one that I have because of many things. I think I have something else, or at least both of these things together. I just wanted to bring it here. I I experienced some things in a certain level that I know that other people don't. I'm not rushing to get a diagnosis because there's also like stigma and other things. I also don't want to use a diagnosis as a shield or as a shield. So, for example, oh yeah, I do this, I have this, so get used to it. It's not my problem. I have a diagnosis. I don't want to do this. At the same time, I think it could help me explain some things. So yeah, I just wanted to bring it because to this point I don't have a new diagnosis, but I I got a sensation that this might unfold in this next year, and yeah, I was thinking about this. Let's see what waits for us this next year. At least I've been getting support. I talked to one of my parents and they were very supportive because I know there is a stigma. I said, hey, I think I might have this. I was just wondering whether you think I should check it with a doctor or something. They were very supportive of me. Uh, Number 12, you easily empathize with others and understand their reasons and their context, their challenges, but also consider people's actions, not only people's promises or people's challenges. Number 13, no, this one's important. No one is obligated to like you. That doesn't say anything about their character, and neither it says about your character. Sometimes someone likes you and you don't like them as much, and vice versa. That happens. Accept it, let it go. 14. My right leg is abnormally more flexible than my left leg. It's not like very flexible, but compared to the left leg, it is way more flexible. Last year I got my right leg injured, and then I thought, okay, while it heals, because it took a couple months, so while it heals, at least I can, you know, get an even because I'll be stretching my left leg much more. But not only it didn't happen, but right now my right leg is way better than the left one, and useless fact that I wanted to show. 15. Don't naively share your don't naively share your vulnerabilities with people you barely know. 16. Your lack of self love and self respect is being a major problem for you in every area of your life. Work on it. 17. You very easily peak on other people's energy. I think that's great, to be honest, but also ground and protect your energy and your space. What I mean by this is, I realized this year that not everybody feel things with other people, which is something that I easily do. I mean, not that I didn't know that some people don't do it as easily, but I don't know. I just faced this more strongly this year, and this made me think of myself. I I easily feel things with other people, even if I don't know the person. I think this is very good because I because when I sense that something is off, or when I sense that something is important to the person, I I can just understand them better, and then I can act better. Or let's say when I don't know the person, but then I know something is off. I usually take I usually take an action towards the person to, when I feel like doing it. It's not always, but I usually try and do something to be a nice human being. So I think this is good. But sometimes when I'm around, for example, people who complain a lot, and or yeah, people who, I don't know, are verbally aggressive, these types of things. When I'm around people like this for too long, I feel very, very, very overwhelmed. So this year I've been practicing protecting my energy, protecting my space, trying to ground myself. 18. The first thing that I said this year of 2025 was something like, "Oh, may I get a boyfriend, may I get a husband," something like that. And guess what? I realized that a partner is probably one of the last things. It's probably the last thing that I need right now. And I was reflecting a lot this year, and I decided to enter a celibacy period. I just have I have a lot to say about this journey, but one thing I'd like to probably highlight here is I realized in my life that I was always liking someone. I always had someone who I was pretty much revolving my life around. I mean, I do spend a lot of. I've always spent, I consider, a lot of time by myself. I don't mind going to places by myself. I don't mind doing things by myself. I even prefer it. But I always have someone. I've always had someone. This is dirty. Oh no. Okay. Anyways, I've always had someone in my mind, and then this year I felt a little bit in panic with the idea of not having someone in my mind, but then I intentionally not forced myself, but I intentionally decided not to be open for connections now, because I know I need this time by myself. Even though I was single, I I was needing a time by myself, like really by myself. Like I said, I felt a little bit in panic, like what now? But it's actually been great. I was feeling fearful, like I was feeling like I would experience a void in my life. But I really have not experienced a void in my life. I think this time is going to be important for me. It is already being, but I think it's going to be even more important in my life, like because as time evolves, I don't know, I've just been getting new realizations about myself. I've been focusing on doing things for myself. I know I can do it while having another person, but this time with myself is being good for me, like really good for me. Lesson number 19. You cannot actually love someone into reciprocating you. So, forcing a sort of dynamic or forcing an outcome is ultimately disrespectful, both to the person you are connecting with and also with yourself. I find it hard. I don't mean to be judgmental, but I find it hard to believe someone is loving another person when they try to be controlling over them. Like, are you trying? Do you? It makes me question: do you love the person, or do you love the role they play in your life, or do you love what you can possibly get from them? So yeah, this made me question myself and my patterns and my behaviors this year. And yeah, I came to this conclusion. Forcing some or trying to force something to happen at all costs is ultimately disrespectful to the other person's context, to the other person's life, to the other person's decisions. It's their decisions ultimately. If you love someone, you're going to love them anyways. Even if you love someone and don't and choose not having them in your life. I think you can love someone and say, okay, I love you, but this is not working for me. I wish you the best. This can happen. But yeah, saying that you love someone and trying to force them to do things is bad. It's harmful. It's harmful for yourself, it's harmful for the person. Lesson number 20. Some people might and will deeply betray you, even people who have been with you throughout all your life. Still, don't harden your heart to people and life. Have faith in humanity. There are very, very good, loving, and caring people in this world. I deeply believe this. Now, the last two lessons are probably going to be the most important ones for this year, okay, for me. Lesson number 21. I think the only certainty you can have in a relationship is that you will, sooner or later, be let down, and vice versa. You are going to let someone down. This is the only certainty I think you can have in a relationship. And this is very freeing because despite of the outcome, my love is my choice, much rather than it is a feeling, and much rather than what I can obtain from the person. Um, so, despite of what they give, even if the person isn't loving or even if the person doesn't do XYZ, you're going to be loving yourself. Be someone who honors. I mentioned loving being much. I mentioned loving being a choice. Be someone who honors your words and vows. And there is that quote, I am the love I give, not the love I was giving. And this is freeing. This was very freeing for me when I realized that it doesn't really matter what I would get because the experience that I have and what I give is what fulfills me ultimately. And I spent quite some time in my life, I think, trying to be fulfilled. I tend to be insecure sometimes, so I would sometimes try to be fulfilled by someone else, and I understood that I can provide myself my fulfillment by giving to people. Like I experienced that it's by giving that I am fulfilled. It's not fulfilled the word I want. It's by giving that I get the love I crave. You know? And this was I don't know if I'm saying something obvious, but this was very freeing for me. This was very special and very important for me this year. Okay, so now our last lesson is the most important lesson. If I could summarize this last year in a sentence, it is I am loved. this was this is pretty much what I want to say from this last year. This is pretty much what highlighted itself for me during this last year, I got great people. Like I around me, I got insisting people. I got to meet incredibly incredible people. I got to meet people who offered me an unconditional love when I was not expecting it. And I'm so very grateful for it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but I can't. But above these human experiences and above experiences with people, and much above deceptions and I don't know, confrontations, whatever that happened with people. What stood out for me this last year is a spiritual love I felt. I I've considered myself to be a Christian throughout some years of my life. I grew up in a Christian household. Um, but in this last around this last year, I've been trying to connect myself with spirituality on other forms without a temple. And it has never felt so real. It has never felt so intense as well ever in my life before, and I'm so grateful for it. I I became interested this last couple months in I don't know getting to know other religions. I visited this year a church, a it's a Brazilian religion temple. I guess you could call it spiritualism or spiritism. If they, anyways, it's a religion. Uh, even a I forgot the name of it in monk mesquita. I forgot, but a Muslim temple, and I've been trying to learn more. I don't know. I like learning, and as much as those experiences were very enriching, I I don't know. I just it's hard for me to explain. I just felt very in touch with myself. I felt very in touch with like a higher self version of me. This past year, I experienced lots of spiritual confirmations. Not even confirmations, but I just felt all along that I was not alone. Even when something bad would happen, I I would feel not alone, immensely not alone. I was just being seen. I was just being seen, and I feel like I have always been seen. You know, this is so important for me. I am seen and I'm loved, and I feel this in a much greater way than I have ever felt. In a much greater, in a much more real way than I have ever felt with a person in my life. And I don't know if what I'm saying is stupid, but it doesn't. I don't know. It might sound stupid for for people who don't get this experience, but what I felt is so real and it's so simple. It's that I'm loved, but it's an immense amount of love. I have never felt anything like that in my life before. Like even when I was in church, and I don't mean to say anything bad about any religion, okay? But I would feel loved when I was in church, but when I was in the temple, And I realized I'm going to be the temple. Like, I realized that spirituality isn't everything. There is actually no division between what is sacred and what is not, because everything is sacred. And this was transformational for me. Just for me to finish this video, it got longer than I was expecting it would. But I've been very much listening for the past couple months a song I've heard many years ago. It's a Christian song, but it says, all of the mistakes, all of the heartbreaks, here is what I would do differently. I'd love like I'm not scared, give when it's not fair, live life for another, take time for a brother, fight for the weak ones, speak out for freedom, fight faith in the battle, stand tall. And then it continues and it talks about God. I think this light is horrible. This light, these images, everything's horrible now, but I think this is what stays from my previous year. It was a challenging year. It was challenging, but it was all worth it. I'm glad that I did the things I did. And yeah, so yeah, bye, future Livia. If anybody watching it, thank you very, very much. Bye.